Well, it's that time again for your final preview of the season. We've done all the other player polls, and now we're down to this final one. And what a big one we've got as well. Apart from being one of the most amazing player polls we have, I also have two amazing coaches with me. I've got obviously Random Mad, hashtag 4 Horsemen, and the awesome More Shots as well. Welcome, guys.
How's it going?
It's not bad, mate. It's not bad. I'm glad we can finally finish the last one, thanks to you two guys. So it looks a really good play poll, so this should be a good one we can sink our teeth into. I'm going to start off, though, with the Killuminati. The team what obviously is got probably the lowest TV out of the full league. Sadly, they lost a wolf in their last game, so they're only rocking one wolf. But on the good thing is, I guess they will get inducements. Rand, I'll come to you first. What does this guy need to do? What do you think? There's not much there, is there?
What he needs to do is get some good inducements that work. And I think that's going to be his, especially week one with his first matchup. A fresh team against a very developed team isn't likely to win unless the inducements decide to actually work. Because that's the big thing about inducements, right? They either work or they don't.
Yeah.
And if he spends 750K and they all work, he's got a chance to make it interesting at least.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not exactly sure how experienced he is or not, because I only played in the once. But I'd say even for like a veteran, trying to do anything in your first season with this team's going to be a struggle. I mean, like you said, he's going to have to really rely on inducements. More shots. If this was your team, how would you go about it?
It's really going to be the point where he's going to have to rely on the inducements, but also be a bit creative with them. He can't get set into into a pattern of, oh, I take this person, that person, and a wizard or whatever. He's got to go into each game and hand select and adjust it for each game plan. So he's got a game plan around what he's bringing in, and then the other thing's going to be is keep the zombies out front and protect what you do have. It's really going to be to the point where he's going to want to develop the wolf. Probably going to want to add a wolf if he can at some point in the season or the transfer next season. But really to the point of just protect the flesh golems, protect his whites, and protect the werewolf, and just make sure the zombies are out front to keep what you have. And then in the second half of a game, start putting the star players at risk some more. Use them as bait. I mean, stuff like that. He's going to have to take advantage of the things that he has going for him, and a lot of that is going to be flexibility from week to week.
Yeah, I mean that's it. I mean, obviously, I'm bringing my Cowboys back, and I've got 5 good players, and the rest are all rotters. So it's a case of when you're sort of in that sort of predicament, you try and use the rotters as a screen, or as in this case, zombies as a screen, and trying to protect your best players as best you can, and then just build on season. And I think that's what Define should try and do. Like you said, be careful with your wolves. If you're going to hit with your wolves, hit and run. Don't let them get shots on your wolves, because when you get into obviously the league, obviously your opponent's going to go for your best pieces, and obviously your wolf is your best piece, and obviously it's got a lot of speed as well, so he can score, he can do damage. So you've got to make sure he's not left out, just to get hit. Obviously 2 goals is a bit more tricky because you want him up there, but you want him protected as well. So and obviously he'll need a white as well. But like the best thing for you is obviously you're going to get inducements. Obviously you're against more shots this week, so it don't get any easier. To be honest, it's going to be hard. But
Ridiculous, yeah.
but don't
Game,
yeah. we've all had our ass kicked by more shots, so don't lose heart if you get a whooping, because we've all had it, and at least you can say you had a brand new team. But I mean, looking at the teams, I mean, who do you think's his best matchup? If we're going to say, right, this is the game you should definitely have the best chance of winning, which one do you think it would be, more shots?
I think he's actually got a chance against the Skaven. It's to the point where they're a fairly young team too, and they don't have anything, really dangerous except for probably the one Storm Vermin. So I think he can hang in there. They both got 12 aside. He'll be able to bring in some inducements, maybe steal away a couple of rerolls or something with a chef. But I think they got a puncher's chance in the Skaven game, because I think that they're both new enough teams, and they have good skills on both, but they don't have that next step, to really get them running out front. So I give them a chance against Borg and the Vermin.
What about your Rand?
I actually agree. It was between them and the Dark Elves, and it's not because they're the lower TVs, but I just think they're underdeveloped a little bit. But the inducements that they're going to get should be more effective against those teams than against some other teams, And with Skaven, you don't need the claw, so missing a wolf is not a huge issue. And you've got, you're going to outstrength them with the flesh columns. I think they do have a chance, but. That being said, Skaven can also win 5-0 real quick, just with a couple rolls, So.
Yeah. It's a tricky one because I was looking around, but I think I agree with more shots on the basis that it'll get a little bit more inducements from them. But obviously most of them are AB7, and the Dash and Bash, they've got a lot more blodge.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I say, it's going to be a tough first season for him, and having just the one wolf and one white, it's going to be difficult, but he's just got to ride it. I would probably try and get Cheney whenever you can, because he's a dual threat, and obviously he has that catch skill as well, so you can hand off to him, and obviously strength 4, so he would help. And maybe Wizard, something like that might be helpful as well. But I agree with More Shots. I think that is probably his best matchup. More Shots, what is his worst matchup?
It's going to be Revang of the Dwarves. I think they're set up for control. They've got guard, they've got strength, they got a good smattering of mighty blow. I mean, they've got about everything you don't want to see if you're a fresh team. I mean, you can get Cheney and some inducements against him, but I mean, Cheney's only going to be so effective once you got a strength 5 dwarf with guard coming in on you, backed by some strength 4 all over the place. Like, I think that's really a matchup that a lot of teams aren't going to want, but especially if you're a young Necro team.
Yeah. Rand?
I mean, I tend to agree with Shots on that one, but I'm going to go and say the Weeping Widowmakers. They just have all the tools to just make it a very miserable game for the Necro, especially if they get them. I don't know when they're actually going to see them, but either way, it doesn't matter. Like, even with the inducements, aren't going to do too much. I don't think they don't do a lot against. There's not a lot of rerolls to steal. There's only one reroll to steal if he takes a chef. Wizards are not as scary. He's got 3 ball carriers basically on the team. He's got 2 ID4 and then the sure hands guy. So if you bolt one, he's still got backups. Like, I don't know.
That'll be a week 6 matchup.
Oof. That could be
so he might not even have a team by then. So I don't mean to be rude, but I mean, this play pool is brutal. Like, I mean, it's a brutal one for a fresh team to come through. Though we have seen a fresh Necro team one point away from making the playoffs in the Challenge League, in a pool that had Plague Inc. and other teams that were pretty high up there in TV. So we've seen it done. So inducements can do a thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, Jim, by the way. It's I don't know. It's a pretty tough one. There's a few big teams out there. I'm trying to have a look at More Shots this team because their use is scary. Let's have a look.
They're a well-built team, so
It's 3 well
he's
built.
got week 1.
Yeah. I'm gonna go for the Weeping Widowmakers as well. I think just because he's got all them ball carriers, disturbing present, tentacles, all that as well. I just think that's gonna be a nightmare for him. And then if you actually injure one of these players, as long as it's not a rot, it could regen and come back onto the pitch. 2 strength 5 tentacles as well. He's got some claw. And Rank Bruno means he can strike from just about anywhere. So yeah, I think he's going to have a bit of problems with them, I think. So I will agree with Van this time. So, but yeah, it's going to be a tough season for him. Let's not lie about it. But if he keeps going, they may come out with a decent team by the end of it with a bit of luck.
Not a lot of teams. You don't get enough credit for trying to develop a team in the challenging. A lot of teams will do their 20, 30 games in the farm and come in ready to go. There's not many people who would actually even bring in a fresh team. So the fact that he's here and he's ready to play is actually going to is pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. Right then, let's go on to the second one. By the way, Rand, I did send you a Discord message if you want to have a look at Right then, let's go on to the next team. It is, I can't pronounce these. Vermin Similitude, maybe? I don't know. More shots, is that right? I don't know.
I have no idea. These Skaven sometimes have some pretty interesting names in that naming scheme. So, yeah, that's why I generally either call them just Vermin or Skaven or something like that. Vermin Similitude.
Oh, you see, that sounded a lot better than me.
That sounds a lot better, yeah.
Vermin Similitude. Vermin Similitude, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you've got it. I've got it. Damn you guys, damn you Americans, you're just too good for me. More shots. What do you think of this team? I'll go to you first.
I thought it was a bit interesting looking at their top two gutter runners. It's really to the point where they went Dauntless first. So I'm expecting the gutter runners to do quite a bit of attacking. So I think this team may be built at doing that high pressure attacking defense where you see the gutter runners swarm into the backfield and really be an aggressive team in that sense. So I could see this team maybe built to put up those 4 or 5 touchdown games that we all like seeing.
Yeah, I must admit I do love aggressive Skaven teams, as long as I'm not playing against them. But yeah, it's interesting. Like I say, I went for Dauntless first. You'd think you'd have probably gone for Wrestle first, and then or something like that, and then go from there. Rand, what do you think?
It's not your typical Skaven team. I mean, the Dauntless first is pretty. I mean, it's a pretty unique take on it, I guess, and I think it's going to be aggressive. I think it's going to be good, and he's got a Roger, which a lot of people don't like that, but I enjoy that. So it'll be fun to watch. I think with Rats can use inducements better than almost any team out there, I think, and they're going to get a lot of them in this pool, so they could have a fun season, or they could be melted because they're Rats. Who knows?
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of Rat Ogre, but if I was ever going to have a Rat Ogre, it'd be early on like this. Jim says, "Bort, not a bad Rat coach. He's basically aggressive." So yeah, I think by looking at what he's picked, me personally, it's an alright team. I wouldn't have the Rat Ogre, I'll be honest, but I just don't like Rat Ogres. Interesting the way he's done his gut runners. So the interesting thing as well with this Stone Vermin is he actually passed up on Claw and took strength. What I suppose in the long run is probably the smartest thing. But yeah, it's not a bad team. I think again, I'm worried that this team could go through the ring. I think there's more chance of this team getting broken than the Necro we've just seen. If I'm being brutally honest, unless because
you're right there. I think this is going to be the team that ends up with a lot of 3-2 victories where they lose 2 players. It looks like a real thin knife to the point where it may break off halfway through the season, but it's deadly. You can just see it's built for a purpose, and it's aggressive play, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean he's got good record.
Go ahead.
Go on, sorry, Rand. Go on.
I mean, he's also going to be able to just induce apothecaries at will. So he could try to keep his team alive while just doing rat BS. So.
Yeah. I mean, he can do that. Like I said, obviously he's going to get some wizards as well. But obviously, as we know, is extremely dangerous when it's in the hands of a rat coach. So he may do well, but I just feared for this team that I've got a bad feeling about this. That this team by the end of week 7, wherever it is in the ladder, it's going to be broken. But I guess rat coaches expect that, so I don't think that Rat Ogre will be nice and clean by the end of week 7. It'll either be dead, retired, or have some sort of minus down, I think. Because if you take away that, there's only been number 5 who has some sort of punch. And obviously number 6 the other one with tackle as well. So it'd be interesting to see how he plays. I hope they do well, because I love watching rat teams. But anyway, let's have a look at the play pool again. More shots. Which is his best matchup? Let's try and give Illuminati a complete bye, because otherwise we'd be saying them probably every bloody game. Apart from the Necro.
Apart from the Necro, I think the Undead. I think the cult up here is probably going to give them a good chance to get a win. I think that that the ghouls are set up nicely to be bullied by the storm vermin, and
Mm-hmm.
besides that, there's not a ton of speed on the team. You just got to kind of avoid the white. So I think the undead are kind of primed to be able to kind of get tied up a bit with that rat ogre and some of the line rats, and then
Mm.
I think the gutter runners are just going to run the show in that game.
Mm. So you wouldn't be scared of the 5 mighty blow then, no?
I mean, they're going to be used to losing players.
Yeah.
It's really going to be to the point where they're going to have to get the win, and I think it's going to be one of those where the
Yeah.
Skaven are going to race to 3 touchdowns before they run out of players, and then
Yeah.
just play the best defense they can. I mean,
Yeah.
I really think that it's going to be one of those things where that team, I think they're going to put up touchdowns early, and once they get that 3rd touchdown, it'll be to the point where they'll go into like a self-preservation mode and just
Mm.
try and disconnect and stay back as much as they can. But I think they're going to win a lot of games where they're going to get the scores in early enough, and I think that's going to be one of them where they can. They may be able to get a turnover or 2 on the undead if they can get to them before the cage gets built.
Mm. Rand, do you agree with more shots, or have you seen somebody else?
I don't like the fact that I'm looking at that so much mighty blow against the AV7 rats.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna go with someone outside of necromantics, that's not the dark elves, because they have a team that I think that could go either way. I'm gonna go with the chaos dwarves, which is kind of a weird thing to call, but they only have 3 mighty blow, and the claws blow against this rat team, right? So
Yeah, well, yeah, he's got a lot of tackle though.
and they're super slow though. Yeah, they have a lot of tackle, but you just match them up with some Ryan rats and run away from them. They're slow. I mean, they literally have 2 players that can keep up with the rats, any of the rats really. And I just think it could be a really bad game for the
For the troughs.
chaos dwarves. Yeah.
Mm.
So, and plus, I hate chaos dwarves, so I have to pick them right.
Oh dear. Oh, who do I go for here? I'm gonna.
But yeah, I picked that directly on less mighty blow. That's all I did.
Okay, well, in that response, then I'm gonna go and pick the dash and bash who have no mighty blow, and only 11 players. I think the way the rats are gonna play is, I mean, they've only got 1 tackle, so I think his philosophy was be like, well, I'm gonna try and score as many touchdowns as you, and I think it's gonna be just like 3 2s, 3 1s. I think he's probably gonna average about three TDs in the games he plays in. But I don't know. I mean, I've played Big Lanky with Lizards, but I haven't seen him play Dark Elf, so that's another reason why I'm picking these until I see how he plays them. But I think he's got a really good chance of beating these guys. I really do. And unless he's get lucky, they shouldn't really be removing a lot of rats. And if you don't remove a lot of rats, you're always in trouble. They're faster than the Dark Elves as well. They've got enough skill positionals in the 4 Gut Runners to do some stuff. They've got the strength 4 Stone Vermin. They've got the Rat Ogre. So if anyone ever gets near the sidelines, you can go after. And he's still got 1 tackle piece and go after the Witch Elf as well. So I think if I'm the Rats, I'll be really queuing up to be playing Dash and Bash. I think that's probably his best chance. What's happening in the chat? Fight Talk said I would pick the Dark Elves. I think that's the easiest as well. Fair enough. Right then, more shots. Who do you think's his worst matchup? Who's gonna make him cry?
See, here's the funny thing. I actually think Dash and Bash may be his worst matchup.
Really? Explain yourself.
Yeah, because I see it actually the opposite way. I see them not getting any inducements. They can't bring in a wizard. They can't bring anything outside it.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be coming in with limited tackle, and this is a team that has Plodge on several players.
Yep.
They've also got guard. They don't have the mighty blow, but a lot of times you don't need it against armor 7. And these guys show up and they've got armor 8, so even if you're attacking with mighty blow, it's not going to be as effective. I think it's really to the point where they've got the defensive tools to stay on the field. They've got a little bit more armor, and I think the only thing that's going to hurt the Dark Elves is only having one reroll. Other than that, I think the Dark Elves really got a good chance on that one.
Well, there we go. Rand, do you agree, or have you seen something else?
Well, that's why I didn't pick them to be the worst matchup. But I think I'm going to be very cliche and go the worst matchup is going to be Dwarves because it's Dwarves and it's very developed Dwarves, and I think they're just going to tear through the Rats. So.
Yeah, and we know how much Royk enjoys breaking stuff. That's gotta be. I mean, look at all that mighty blow. Oh my god, that's a lot. You see, to me, I don't think they're the worst matchup in win purposes, but I do believe it's one of the teams what could basically break his team. I agree with that. But again, I think with the adjustments they'd have a wizard against the dwarfs, go 2-0 up, pray to Nuffle like you've got enough in the bank. But I'm gonna go. The worst matchup is the Weeping Widowmakers because
that's a good call too.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, top class coach. Secondly, all the foul appearance, disturbing presence, the 2 tentacles, and that's what you've got to remember. 2 strength 5 tentacles on gut runners with strength 2, that can ruin your day. He's got smashing pumpkin with frenzy and tackle. He'll be hunting anything he can get, and anything what goes close to the sidelines, he's gonna surf. He's got the speed of rank Bruno. He's got another 2 ball carriers as well. So I think it's a nightmare for the Rats. Yeah, they will get inducements, and even though they'll be able to get a wizard, I still think, as long as the tentacle guards are around where the ball is, and you could have the point where he could bolt the ball carrier, and then he could scatter next to a tentacle piece, what makes it harder for obviously the Rats, or even if you remove the ball carrier, he's still got another 2 people can pick the ball up, no problem. So. I just think this is a nasty team, and it's got enough. He's got enough mighty blow to do the damage, and obviously, even if you just have that 1 enforcer, that can ruin the days. I just think it's got all the bases covered, and it's even got a guy who can just about keep up with them as well, even speed wise. So I'm gonna go for the Widowmakers because I just think they match up quite well to the lovable Rats. Right. Next team. Oh, this should be fun. Revang of the Dwarfs are back. Yes, baby. The lovable dwarfs. Oh dear, these are scary. Rand, I'll come to you first this time. What do you think of? Are you happy Revang are back, or would you like to face them? A lot of mighty blow.
The Plague Inc. has played these guys. They weren't this developed. This was probably like 6, 7 seasons, 8 seasons ago now. But I mean, the team is your typical dork team, right? Minus the Hail Mary pass runner that Royk loves to use every time that he plays this team. But I mean, the strength 5 Longbear with multi-block is a great little. I mean, it's one of my favorite pieces on the team. I love it. You don't see that often. That's but I don't know. It's a typical dwarf build, minus the stat ups because he's gotten a lot of stat ups on this team. But he's got lots of mighty blow, lots of guard, lots of tackle. He's got it all. So
more shots.
Yeah, it's a real good looking team. I think if they have any weakness is that they don't have a lot of guard. I think they've only got 4 guard pieces. So I think you'd like to see more of that. But with all their strength ups, they really don't feel that negative quite as much. I think the interesting thing is going to be the Troll Slayer with Agility 3. Seeing him getting into the ball handling and that, I think, could be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really one of those teams where if you're playing against them, it's kind of a nightmare. But if you're watching them, it really is an enjoyable. A lot of people think dwarves are fairly boring in that, but I think this is one of the teams where you can watch it and really be entertained.
Yeah, absolutely. Jim's saying MML needs a stronger screening system. Clearly, performance enhancing drugs used here. Depends on, well.
Bacon. The screening system is foiled by bacon. Just to let everybody know.
It's the grease.
My favourite stalkers here, VPalV. Welcome. I love watching Royk play. And this team's gonna. I can't wait to see this team clash with obviously your team, More Shots, and obviously the Widowmakers. I think they're going to be really high quality games. I like this. I tell you what, I like number 8. Obviously, he's strength 5. I like that. And the multi block, yeah, that's pretty fun. But I do like his tuck break tackle as well. So he's cage diving on a 4+ into a standard cage. What I really like the looks of that. Obviously, Troll Slayers are pretty good. Be interesting to see how he uses that agility 3. And obviously, Kajel's a very, very good runner. And obviously, if he gets in trouble, it looks like he's going to lose the ball. He can always throw it away as well and hope some shenanigans. So I like this team. I think it's developing nicely. It's got enough there to break stuff. But he also has pieces there what can win him the game as well. So I think, it's a really, really good team. More Shots. What do you think is his best matchup here?
It's going to be Dash and Bash. I mean, it's a classic a weakness of the Dark Elves. I mean, the Dwarves got to have all the strength. They got the guard. They have the tackle to neutralize all the dodge. And, I mean, the Dark Elves are going to get some inducements, but, I mean, the Dwarves have everything you need to pretty much neutralize most inducements that they could bring in. So it's kind of one of those nightmare matchups. If you're an elf, you don't want to see a Dwarf team, especially one built like this, on your schedule. But, yeah, that's looking like a good matchup for Revang.
Yeah. Rand, do you agree?
Yeah, it's hard not to agree, especially because they get each other first week, so they're as is. And I don't think the Dark Elf team is really built to be able to stand against that or even do anything really. They got the 3 guard pieces, which is nice, I guess, but I just think the dwarf strength and their dwarves against Dark Elves, I think it's just going to be not fun. So.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you two guys. There's the problem with Dark Elves sometimes they're just very slow. I mean, if this was like a Wood Elf team or something like that, then I could possibly sort of build a case with the speed and all that, but Dark Elves aren't very quick, and I think these dwarfs will be able to, as long as the position okay, they should be able to hem in the Dark Elves. I guess the only hope for the Dark Elves is to try and maybe score a TD, then maybe use a wizard and score again and try and hang on. That could possibly happen because obviously dwarfs aren't the quickest, so try and do that. But it looks rough because obviously their main strength blodge is nullified by dwarfs, and the thing is, if most of these what hit you are going to have mighty blow as well. So I think Big Lanky will be dreading when he plays him for sure. And guess what? That's first week. Oh well, get it over and done with, I guess. What is the worst matchup though for these dwarfs though, Rand? I'll go to you first. If there's anyone who's going to fear, who's going to fear here?
That's hard. I don't know if it's a worst. I mean, I don't know. I think he's gonna struggle against the. I don't even know if it's gonna be a struggle. I can't wait to watch either game against the Widowmakers of the Power Hour. I think it'll be really good games, and I think those will be his toughest games. I don't know if they'll be his. I don't know. It's hard. If I have to pick one, I'm gonna go ahead and pick Shots and Power Hour.
Okay. Shots, do you agree that you're his worst matchup, or do you think there's somebody else?
No, I actually think it's going to be the cult of Fnordlings.
Ooh.
I think that they have the strength to actually nullify some of the strength. They've got a bit of guard in there too mixed in. It's really to the point where if they can keep their ghouls up and in good positions, I think that they could really put on a pretty good game. I mean, they're going to be able to slip in a nice inducement. I could see maybe a Cheney show up and give them that splash of claw to really put the fear of God in the the fear of God in the dwarves. And yeah, I think that could be a sneaky game where the dwarves have a lot to worry about.
Yeah, I can see where you're going there. I'm just trying to defend. I just don't know who I'm going to go for. Ooh dear. Because the thing is, I mean, your team and the Widowmakers are very powerful, but again, most of them are only armor 8, and getting hit by Might Blow can make a mess. I'm going to pick you basically because you got more claw than he has. The Widowmakers have, and you're just a little bit faster. So, I think dwarfs, I mean, he hasn't got as much guard as well. So if this was like a guard-heavy dwarfs, I'd probably go somewhere else. But because it isn't, I think you'll be able to just go and pick out the weak link, and hopefully your claw will get it done. And obviously Ram Chancellor, the superstar he is, if they go close to the sidelines, I'm sure he'll be pushing them out as well. And obviously Irish Carbon needs no introduction. I can see him running through this team. Yeah, I'm going to go. I know it's not a very exciting pick, but I think the more shots is probably the worst one. I think if Royk's honest, that'll be the team he would fear the most. I think from an attrition perspective, at least. But I can't wait to see that trio fight against each other. I think it'll be quite good. But yeah, I'm glad the dwarfs are back, and I think it'll be fantastic. Right, final one in the conference then is the Four Horsemen's guy, the Weeping Widowmakers. So Thunder has brought them back with an interesting team. I'll go to his colleague first of all, Rand. What do you think of his team on his return?
Hashtag Four Horsemen.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it is a beautiful team, and it is well built, well coached. I mean, it's got everything you need plus a backup for everything you need, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even if even if Nurgle starts losing pieces, which I can tell you from experience it does, he's got people that can just take over and do it again. He's got everything to do everything. His Strength 5 Tentacles, which I can't wait. I wanted to ask Shots about it, what he thinks about the Strength 5 Nurgle Warrior, because Shots and I have gone for about 2 years now. We've been talking about Strength 5 Nurgle Warriors and how they're bloat.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring it up here, but I mean, I just love the team. I think it's a great looking team. It's Nurgle, which Nurgle's beautiful, and it just looks good. So,
more shots.
Yeah, I will say this: the Strength 5 Warrior, I don't like it because it locks in the particular build that you see here. As soon as he's Strength 5, you automatically have to take the tentacle, the block, and stand firm. And it's just one of those where I don't like that build. I think that that's going to be an effective piece, but I just don't like that particular build. Like, yeah, it just doesn't work with my play style, I guess. But you look at this team, and yeah, each piece has its place. You know what they're going to do. They're going to be effective. They're going to work. The front line's going to have to work as a team. They don't have a lot of guard. If anything, that would be their only weakness. But
Yeah.
I think they can work around that with the strength and that. And yeah, I like personally the level of offense they have. 2 agility 4 players. I mean, you've got that movement 8 Pestigore. I mean,
he's basically
I
agility
like
4
the fact
too.
that they have a lot of offensive weapons, and the ball's going to be moving around, and it's going to make it difficult on teams to really slow them up. They may attack right, left, center, wherever, and yeah, I think this is much like I said about the Dwarfs. This is a Nurgle team where watching them is going to be a lot of fun, just because there's so much more going on than you expect with a lot of Nurgle teams. You hear Nurgle and it's boring and slow and there's disturbing presence and there's no offense. Where this is an offensive powerhouse, and I think that's really the part that stands out for me is how many tools they have to score.
Yeah, I mean, when obviously the Four Horsemen were obviously joined the first time around, he was very adamant that he's going to play this like passing Nurgle, I suppose, in a way. This high octane agility 4 stuff, and he's obviously got 2 agility 4s. He's got the rank Bruno, who obviously gives him a 110 option as well. What's useful? He's got the 2. I like the 2 tentacles. It's there, and I like number 2 because it gives you, if you send that guy, he ain't gonna roll a 1 and obviously look stupid. So I like that. The only couple of issues I have is only 3 Nurgle warriors. I think you need all 4. And the guard aspect, there's not much guard in this team. That would be my only concern. But he's got a nice beast. I love his Strength 5 Nurgle warrior. Skunk and Ants is a decent one as well. Gives him guard. I'm never going to lead on a Nurgle. I don't like leader at all, so I hate the build on number 4. But good job he's got leader because he's only got 1 reroll. So but I think the powerhouse in this team is definitely in the Pestigos. There's a lot of reliability there, and the great thing is because a lot of Nagel teams, including my own, you have that one like ball carrier, and if he goes out, then all of a sudden it's like, who's carrying the ball, and all of a sudden your offense isn't great. Where with this team, you could take out Rank Bruno, no problem. Sabath and Triple will deal with it, or take one of them out, and Rank will deal with it. So I like that, and I also love that Smashing Pumpkin has Frenzy as well. So on the Blitz is strength 4. It's got basically all the boxes ticked. Very good coach as well, brilliant coach. Guard's the main concern for me. If I to nitpick, it would be guard. That's the only concern. But yeah, I like I said, I love watching London play. He plays them extremely well. There's going to be some absolutely mouth-watering clashes this season. What I can't wait to see them in. And yeah, it's a good team. It's only going to get better. Saying that, obviously apart from the Necro shots, where do you think his best chance of a win is coming from?
This is one that you guys kind of highlighted a little bit earlier. I think his best matchup is going to be the Skaven. I can see him effectively using those tentacles to tie up gutter runners left and right, and just the frustration of that will end up leading to attrition, if nothing else. Yeah. Just getting those tentacles in the right spot is going to be huge. Thunden's a solid coach. He's going to effectively use his disturbing presence in that, and it's just going to he's going to take up so much of the field that the speed isn't going to be as big of an issue against the Skaven.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Rand, do you agree or disagree?
I'm going to say I hate agreeing. I hate agreeing with the shots because it's just like, well, I'm just taking it. But I mean, it really, it's that or the Dark Elves. They're just going to be struggling to do much against the disturbing presence, the tentacles, the tackle. I mean, just it's a control Nurgle team, and those are teams that don't want to control, right? So. Yeah.
The thing what really makes me go for the Rats more than anything else is actually what Jim Sardonic said, more than anything else. I mean, obviously we've highlighted the tentacles and the disturbing presence and everything else. The worst thing Rats can do, and this is only my opinion, I'm sure a lot of people disagree, is do not go aggressive against Nurgle when they've got these sort of tools, because usually when you're going aggressive like this, you end up using your gut runners and Thunden's not that. He'll just go, I'll put a tentacle guy on that, and then he's obviously gonna, try and smash the rest of it. And I usually when I've seen this in the champion ladder and all this sort of stuff, a lot of times I see these aggressive Rat coaches get broken badly when they try and be aggressive against Nurgle. So that concerns me. Yeah, every so often it'll work, but the amount of times I've seen Rat teams what are aggressive, and it works against other teams, it never seems to work that well against Nurgle. So for that reason, I think the Widowmakers will get the big W over the Rats, and I think it's probably their best matchup. I think the Dark Elves with all that mass blodge might help them a bit more, and they are a bit more with AV8. But I'm gonna say, obviously, the best match for the Widowmakers to me is probably going to be the Rats. So I agree with you two. Now, here's the interesting one. We'll come to Rand first. Which is his worst matchup?
I don't want to. I mean, I'm doing it again. He doesn't have a worse matchup outside of running into the Cow Hour. They're gonna, and I'm not saying he's going to lose to that matchup. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying he's going to lose that matchup. I'm not saying it's going to be one-sided. I'm just saying that's going to be his toughest game of the season right there.
Yeah. Thing is as well, obviously these two teams have clashed before, and last time More Shots team won 2-1, so that's going to be interesting. More Shots, do you agree that you're his worst matchup, or do you think there's someone else?
No, I actually think it's going to be the Dwarves. Revanga, the Dwarves, with that strength, they have not a lot of guard, but they've got enough guard that they can tie up a lot of players, and I think that's going to be a little bit tougher for them, just simply because they're not going to be able to rely on the strength 5, because the Dwarfs, they've got strength 5 too, and if there's a break of a rotter or two early, they'll lose the numbers. And yeah, I think that's really I think that's a team that could really put them in a difficult position that they're not really used to.
Yeah,
I'm
go on, Rand. Go on, Rand.
I get your point, but I mean, I just don't think Nurgle struggles with dwarves. I mean, and from my perspective anyway, so I just don't think it'll be as big of a deal.
Yeah, and I think traditionally they don't, but I think this particular dwarf team it's a bit more than most dwarves with all the strength and that's the one that I wanna really watch and see, because I mean they're both good coaches. They both know their teams, and I think that's really one of them where there could be 1-2 turns that really make a difference on who wins. But yeah, that's going to be one where I think that he's going to have the most difficulty with.
Yeah, I must admit I was tossing between obviously your team and dwarfs, because the Nagel only got, I think, is it one guard? They haven't got much guard. They've got 2 claw, but one of them doesn't have mighty blow, and the one what does have mighty blow and claw is frenzy, so it can be frenzy trapped, so end up being based up to another one of these killers. So that concerns me. The reason I went obviously for more shots though was because the Widowmakers have 3 ball carriers, so he could pull these dwarfs all over the place, and dwarfs are just as slow as Nagel. So I was like, he's got that strength for a break tackle guy, what I really like, but I think with the speed and especially with rank Bruno, he can keep himself away from these guys. I still think it's a bad matchup, but if I had the choice between them two and I was the Widowmakers, I think I'd still want to play against the Dwarfs, because the power hour, they're nasty. They're real nasty. They've got a nice movement 7 ball carrier. They've got agility 4, the new signing, Combustible Lemon. What a great name. I mean, they've got Jack Daniels who can hold the ball if he needs to. And there's more shots as well. The interesting thing is you have like 4 guard as well, but you have Irish Car Bomb who can just leave a bloody mess. And then obviously you'll have Manda Razorback as well, so there's another agility 4 piece. All of a sudden you're sort of like saying, well, you've got 3 ball carriers, you've got 3 ball players, I've got 3 ball players, but you know what, I've got more guard than you, I've got more killy stuff than you, and if you, I'm not saying that Moshus will definitely win, but looking at the teams, I think the Power Hour might have the edge over him. I mean, if the Weeper Widowmakers was to play him like late in the season, maybe get a few more bodies on his team and everything, then the Widowmakers might have been a lot better. But I think personally, this is going to be tough for the Widowmakers. It really is. I think the firepower and the bullying from the guard, and I think it's a tough game. I really do. But again, it's another one of those games where you just want to see carnage, and it should be an exciting game. I think it'll be like a 2-1 or something. I think it'll be a great game. I can't wait. But I'm going to go with Bill Power Hour to be his worst matchup. Let me know if you agree in chat. So that is them 4 done. I think it's fair to say all 4 very good teams, and I wish them all the best. We now go into the other conference, and we're going to start off with Dash and Bash. Big Lankers team. And I must admit, guys, I was cut off by this because I was talking to him and I played him a few times, and he was playing Lizards and he'd only lost 2 games, and that was it. He won, I think, or won or drew with the rest of them. So I thought he's going to be coming with Lizards. Next thing I hear, he's in with Dark Elves. And the only reason I knew he came in with Dark Elves because he wrote a story. Otherwise, I'd have been oblivious. So this has been interesting because I've never seen him play them. More shots. What do you think of this team for 1390?
I think this team has a lot of skills and a lot of potential.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, you look at them, and there's nothing that it's like, oh, well, that's really something different, or that's something really exciting. Yeah, you've got the highlights, which is the Agility 5 Witch Elf, but everything else, it just kind of fits. They got a nice splash of guard in there. They've got a lot of dodge, and this looks like a team that this season's the start of something where 3 seasons down the road, they look just nasty. They look like your worst matchup, and like just like a nice level of guard, and then the rest of the skills fill in, and all of a sudden it's like they just play traditional elf ball, and it's a tough matchup at that point. So
Yeah.
I think this team shows a lot of potential. The coach definitely has skilled them up in a very technical way, I'd say.
Hmm.
It feels almost surgical how they have the
Yeah.
players skilled right now. So I think they're ready, and this is one of those where they may have some struggles this first season, but once they fill in and really get into where they're heading, that this is going to be one of those teams where they're going to end up having, they'll add in some tackle and a mighty blow piece and stuff like that. They'll fill out the rest of the roles, but right now they've got a good groundwork for what they're building on.
Yeah, and the interesting thing already, he's got 3 guard already. This wouldn't surprise me if he's one of these guys who's going to go down the route trying to get 6 or 7 guard in the Dark Elf team. What would be so amazing to see.
Oh yeah.
Wouldn't it just? For what he's for 1390, I think what he's got in his team's amazing. The other thing I don't like is the one reroll. I think. That's going to be interesting. I know a lot of them have got block. I know a lot of them have got the dodge as well. But one reroll is always a worry for me. But again, you see, after a few games, you might be able to buy one. Rand, what do you think about this team?
I think it's a beautiful start. I think he got an unlucky draw starting season 20 of the MML with this team. I just think the play pool is going to be pretty rough for him. I think the build though, the way he built at the start, the 1390 as a Dark Elf team, it's awesome. It's got everything it needs early, and it's ready to develop. There's a lot of levels coming. He's got 3 people that one is one SVP away, and then 2 that are an MVP away. There's levels coming, so he will develop as long as they can stay alive, and that's the big thing. So.
And he's got the dwarfs first week as well, so that's not good. More shots. Where do you think is his best chance of a win here?
I still think that Skaven are going to be a good matchup for him. I think he's going to be able to deal with the gutter runners and protect his players on that. I think that he's gonna really he's gonna be able to get away with what he wants to, because I don't think the Skaven have enough tackle to really deal with him.
Yeah.
So if they can get the one tackle piece out, then they're gonna be looking pretty for the rest of that game. So yeah, I like their chances versus Skaven.
Yeah. Beers, it's season 19. Top left, season 19, it says there for you, bud.
I did say season 20, didn't I? So yeah, look at me, already thinking about next season.
Oh, did you?
Because of the way this season started.
I was like wondering when it was cool with season 20. What? Champ wouldn't. Is he trying to trick us or something? But yeah. Rand, do you think that's the best matchup they're at, or do you think it's somebody else?
I actually think the Undead is going to be his best matchup. They don't have a lot of tackle to deal with it. They don't have a lot of answers to elf BS that's going to be happening. I just think that these elves will be able to do pretty much whatever they want against and they're not going to have. And the thing about it is they don't have 4 gunner runners to turn around and try to come back again, right? The Undead don't. So I think they'll have the best chance to win against the Undead.
Yeah.
So
I agree. I'm going to go for the Undead. I think just the one tackle piece, although it is a scary piece, let's be honest, Vlad the Hero could make a mincemeat out of him. I think the 3 goals are primed to be destroyed if the Dark Elves are sneaky enough, and they've got enough guard to give them a chance against the Undead. Yeah, I thought a lot of these matchups were pretty tough, but I'm not saying he'll beat Jim's team, but I think I think he's got a better chance against them than he would against the Morshots or Roik for sure. So yeah, I think I'll go with you there, Rand. What's his worst matchup though, Morshots? Which one is he dreading?
Dwarves.
Yeah.
I don't know what inducements you got to take to try and get around what those dwarves are bringing, but you could probably give them 1,000 inducements, and I don't think it's gonna matter. I just think that's a meat grinder for him, and just like I said, it's a nightmare. If you're a Dark Elf coach, that's a nightmare. You can't outrun them. You're just gonna have to try and survive it. And yeah, it's just not the team you want to see. And unfortunately for them, they're gonna see him fairly early, I think.
First week.
Yeah.
This week,
So,
yeah.
That could be a
in a matter of
bloodbath.
hours, I believe they're going to have to try and run for their lives.
In a couple of hours. Oh, is that on tonight? Is it this one?
I believe that is today.
Ooh,
So I think
ooh,
that's in like about 2 hours.
ooh. I might try and stream that one. That could be quite a good one. If they want me to. That could be a lot of fun. Randy, you agreeing that the dwarfs are the nightmare?
Yeah, I can't disagree. There's not really anything else to say. It's going to be a bad matchup, and it's week 1, so it could just be a really bad season for this team if it turns out bad. So,
Yeah, I kind of agree. I really want to go for something different.
Yeah, it's tough on that one though. It really
It
is.
is, isn't it? I'm trying to think if I'm the Dark Elf player, what are my positives? I suppose he's got 3 guard. He's got a bit more speed than them. He's got the skills. He's got a lot of inducements. I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna change this up. The worst matchup is Bill Cower Power Hour. Why? Because it's more shots and it's got
Yeah.
because you
tackle
keep picking
and
them
it's.
as the worst matchup for everybody.
But I know this team won't let me down. You know, I've got them to win 3-0 first week. So hey, you know, I'm on the more shots train. Yeah, but the thing is, he's got claw. They'll chew up the Dark Elves. He's got the tackle as well, and he's got Irish Car Bomb. Who doesn't need tackle? It's so awesome. They'll just roll powers. And he's got the ball carriers what can go toe to toe with these Dark Elves. And he's got the speed, so he ain't going to be able to outspeed more shots team. He's got, you know, I just think it's a nightmare if he goes down the side. He's just sort of surfing with the good old veteran Ram Chancellor. You know, I think against the dwarfs there is ways he could possibly do stuff, but against the Power Hour, unless he gets a few lucky removals, I think they're a nightmare. And Claw Mighty Blow, still the best killer in the game. So I'm gonna have to go with them. And as well, former champions. So you know what? I think they retired as champions, didn't they? So they come back. So yeah, I'm going to go with the Bill Cow Power. I think they're scary, and they could be the team what break the Dark Elves, and not the Dwarfs. But we will see. Right, next team along the line is some lovely Chorfs, fun size punchers. Now, this coach, I have a feeling I have probably played him before, but I can't remember playing him, so my apologies if I have. And if I haven't, just ignore what I've just said. More shots. We've got some more Mighty Blow and Claw here. Got some guard. What do you think of this team?
I think the real impressive player is what looks to be their ball handler.
Mm-hmm.
The 3 agility, sure hand, break tackle, block, bull centaur. It has all the skills you want. There's nothing overly flashy about it. It's just a solid player. And I think if you're playing against them, that's the piece you got to try and find an answer for. I know the guys up front are going to be a little scary. There's some claw, there's some mighty blow, a nice little smattering of guard. But yeah, the one that you've got to actually game plan against is the ball carrier.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, with his agility.
Yeah, I think it's nothing crazy fancy or anything like that, but it's a solid looking team. You know, they're probably due for a growth spurt here.
Mm-hmm.
With the guys up front slowly building up a little bit, with attrition and that. But yeah, it's nothing over the top flashy. Solid looking team. I think they'll get a little bit of inducements here and there, so you could see them packing a wizard or maybe even a star player.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, depending on who they're playing, they're gonna have they're gonna have opportunities. I think they'll be in most of the games this season. That they're not gonna get ran over too many times.
No, Rand.
I hate Shores, but I love this team because there's one simple reason. Every single game it has played has been in the Challenge League of the MML. It came in 100%, 1,000 TV fresh. This is their 4th season, so 3 seasons ago. And this is all developed within the league. And I love it. They've been going through some tough matchups the last 3 seasons, and he built it really well for what he's been doing. 7 games a season and maybe a couple playoff games, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. What can I say? Plus points. 2 Mighty Blow Claw pieces. That's beautiful. Guards, alright. But, I can't lie. I hate the Bull Centaurs. I really don't like them. Number 2, I can defend to a certain extent. Number 1, I can't defend, because why would you have two ball handlers in that way? I know he's got strip ball with number 1, but obviously I've been playing Chorfs a lot in other leagues, and the problem is you're going to get bullied by these stronger teams, and if you've got one of your strength 4 pieces hard in a way, and expecting your strength 3 guys to just deal with it while they're against all these Nagel, all these, Chaos, or even like Kemri, and you've got your strength 4 guy hard in a way. Nah, that's not right. I mean, I know there's a lot of people love the ball handling aspects of a ball center, and obviously he certainly does. And then there's people like me who hate it. I mean, I start off when I played Chorfs with a ball handling ball center because I thought, well, he's strength 4, and he's, if I get short hands, he'll more likely pick the ball up, give him break tackle, and GFRs and all this, and they got short feet. And I'll be honest, my gameplay shot up a lot better as soon as I was like, you know what? That hobo's going to have the ball. You deal with it. You score me the touchdown. And my 2 strength 4 guys are going to, help out the Chorfs where they can. So obviously I have like a frenzy bull who goes around, and he'll surf anything off where, who is silly enough to go near the sideline. Or, they'll just come up and help the strength 3. I hope he does well. I like Chorfs, and like Moorshot has said, they won't get ran over. They've got enough there to ruin somebody's day. But against Nagel and the Chaos, you want to play them and hide away your bull centers. And even if you bring your bull centers forward, they're lacking more skills to really help out. There's no guard on them. There's no mighty blow. There's just nothing. No stand fair. No frenzy. I don't know. I can understand if you want to go one of them as a ball carrier, but 2, I just don't like it. I really don't. Like I said, I'm a big believer in hobos being your ball carrier. That's just my personal preference. I'm sure some other Chorf guy will say, no, you talking rubbish, should go with a ball center. But I think most people agree having 2 ball centers both built to carry and run the ball, to me, is a waste. That's just me. So I couldn't pick this team to make the playoffs on that basis. I think it's a waste of TV, and the only way this proves to be right is if one of them gets killed. I'm sorry.
So Bernie, I want to say something. You remember this team started? This team's done everything in the league. So you think the bull centaur that has the sure hands got it first, and then the next one rolled Agi, so he just went they went different directions, right?
Possibly.
And I'm just trying to defend it. I'm not saying that that's actually what happened, but it could have been that. And then it's hard to replace players in the middle of a season, as we all know.
Yeah.
So
it is. I mean, I agree with what you're saying. I mean, that could definitely have happened. The problem is like some people have said before, they just cannot turn down a stat down. They can't turn something down, and it's like, you paid for your agility, but then took break tackle. So I just don't. I like the rest of the team. If this was my team now and I had a transfer, I'd be transferring one of those guys. That would probably be number 1, and bring in an enforcer or something, because I play Chorfs quite a lot now, and one thing I always feel is when you get to these bigger teams like the Moorshots and the Weeping Widowmakers, or even a really guard-heavy dwarf team, you need that extra strength there for hitting and stuff, and that's why I like the frenzy aspect, because you got like a strength 4 piece what can then push and maneuver pieces out the way, what makes it a lot easier for your Chorfs. Because what you got to remember, you only got 6 Chorfs, and they're only strength 3 unless you're lucky to get a strength up. Like I say, he'll get away with it against some of the teams. I just think it's overkill. I agree with what Rand says, and that seems a very logical way why he did that. But then why take break tackle if you've got agility 3? I know it's 2+ against 3+, but I just don't like. I just think it's just a lot of waste of TV. I mean, I don't know. I try not to be negative because I like the rest of the team, but I just don't like it. I'll be honest, but I hope it works for him. I really do. I hope it works for him because like I love Cho, so I hope he does really, really well and makes the playoffs and all that sort of stuff. But you know, when we analysing things, I think it's only fair to be honest and say, look, things I do like and things I don't like, and I just think it's a lot of waste of TV. I think, you know, two the same. I think I would be looking for a transfer at the end of the season and trying to bring in a different Bull. I don't know, but hey. Anyone else want to say anything? Want to come back and defend him or anything before we move on? Shots, did you want to say anything?
I look at it and I see it similar to Borton, his Skaven team. I look at the team and I can see a coach that built a team in a particular way that fits their play style. And I think that's probably why we see the Bull Centaurs how they are. Mm-hmm. Is that his play style is just he's comfortable and suited with that. So it's one of those where I think if you put this team in another coach's hands, they'd struggle with it. But I think that it's kind of one of those where he has built it to match what he wants to do. So it's going to be more successful for him.
Yeah, and that is important.
You know, he has developed those coaching skills.
Yeah, Bezo's just coming to the pit. Into the pitch, into the stream. Oh my God, he's on there already. Happy birthday, Bezo. Hope you're feeling a lot better, mate. Like I said, if there's anything I can do, I'm on your phone call away, so give me a ring if need be. This is something I try to remember because Moshot's said this a few times now, is you've got to play what's comfortable for you. In the Rebel, obviously I'm Chorps in Rebel, I had a Blodge Bull Centaur, and then I got another double, and I picked diving tackle on a bull. And the amount of, not abuse, the amount of ridicule I got for taking diving tackle, and like, oh, you don't give a bull diving tackle, blah, 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 blah. And you know what? The amount of games that guy saved me, and he's actually killed people who've tried to dodge and failed. So, you know, I picked that because it suited my games, my game plan. So if two sure-handed guys makes you feel comfortable, then by all means you go with that. And that's the important thing. And it's really good what Moshot says. It's like, create your team the way you feel comfortable and goes in your game plan. Obviously, I'm just saying what I would do. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I think that's a really important thing what Shots has said. Always, and that's to everybody, you know. We're just here to say what we like and what we don't, but at the end of the day, you back your own ability and you back what's comfortable for you. We're just trying to give you a different take of what we may take and may not take. So I just want to put that there.
That Bull Centaur you described reminds me of Mercy Flush had a Bull Centaur that was on his Madonnatron versus Shaniqua bots that had the jump up, diving tackle, break tackle, block, like all that, and that was one of the builds that I saw it and I was like, that is a brilliant build. It is so different and it's going to catch so many people off guard, and there is some bit of advantage of having a build that's different and giving the other coach something to look out for. So yeah, it's really one of those where if you're good at coaching a team in a little bit different way, it can be a huge strength for you because it gives the other coach something that they're not expecting or haven't seen.
Yeah, and that's you know, and because I already had Blodge, because obviously Dodge is the first thing I'd take. Unfortunately, it didn't get me any XP the last season because I want to get him stand firm next. So he's a Blodge stand firm, so I just park it next to the ball carrier. But I just think sometimes thinking outside the box is pretty cool. And yeah, that's so basically what I'm trying to say is, even though I'm saying I don't like it, just ignore me if you're happy with what you're going with, because like I say, at the end of the day, I'm not playing this team, you're playing this team. So if it makes you feel better, then go with it. The plus point of having two short-handed balls is if one of them gets bolted, they don't can pick the ball up, hopefully. So you know, there's always that. Anyway, what's his best chance of a win here, more shots? Where do you think he's looking for that big W?
I think he's got a good chance against the Dash and Bash. Their TV isn't too different. They may have to be, you know, avoiding a wizard or something like that, but they've got the tackle that they're going to need to deal with all the blodge. And then they also have the Bull Centaurs. If somebody does squirt loose and tries to make a break for the end zone, that they can sweep that up. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a good matchup, and I think that's really one of those where you know, he's comfortable with his team. He's coached them for several seasons, and we've got another coach coming in with a fairly fresh team that they haven't had as long of a run. So, that I think experience could be a huge factor in that one to get Asher the win versus Dark Elves.
Do you agree with that, Rand?
Yeah, and real quick, I'm just gonna finish up the chores, and then I had another commitment that I thought would be done by this time, so I'm sorry.
Okay. Sorry.
But anyways, I do, and I hate picking on the Dark Elves because I like the way he built the team. I just think it's a bad pool for him this season. And I think he's not gonna. The Dark Elves aren't gonna get a ton of inducements. They're not gonna get a wizard. They might actually. Who knows? They might be mauled by the time to see him. But I just think that they're gonna struggle against them. So.
Just before you go, just give us your top 2
of the pool. Oh God. I'm gonna be very, very. It's gonna be between the 3. I think it's gonna be between the dwarves, the chaos, and the Nurgle. It's hard to pick between those 2, but I think it'll be. It'll probably end up being the Nurgle and the chaos taking the pool. So.
Fair enough. Good stuff, mate. Well, thanks for dropping by, and good luck with what you're doing.
Enjoy your dwarves on Planetfall there.
All right, see ya.
Okay.
Yeah, later.
Right, so obviously, I personally think the best matchup may be against the Rats, just because the Rats play aggressive, and if they start marking up against these Chorfs, it could be a disaster. And I think, the good thing is obviously the ball center is strength 4, and he does have sure hands, so it's going to be maybe slightly harder for these guys to get the ball off him. Yes, they do have Dauntless, but I just think he's got a good chance against these. The Chorf tackle will, if any gut run is foolish enough to get close to them, obviously it'll be doing that. The number 5K True Storm could get taken out by Claw, Mighty Blow as well. Do not forget about both dice though. I won't even going to talk about dice, Bezer. So I agree with what you two said about Dash and Bash, but just for something different, I think the Rats could break if they get too aggressive with the fun size punches as well. So so that was the worst match. We did do good matchups, didn't we? I'm completely confused now. I can't remember. Did we do good matchups, or was that supposed to be a good matchup?
That was best matchup. Their worst matchup will end up most likely being probably. Gosh, it's tough. They got a solid team. I kind of want to say Undead. I think the Undead, they're pretty close on TV. The Undead have the strength advantage and a little bit of speed. I mean, I think that one's going to be close, but I think the Dwarfs and Undead really could be a big matchup that the Chaos Dwarfs might struggle with. Yeah,
it is a good. Yeah, Beers, I'm getting old, mate. I'm getting old. I can see the Cult of Nordlings doing extremely a good job on them. I just can't get myself away from the Widowmakers though. For some reason, I'm drawn towards the Widowmakers. The staring presence is going to shut down any sort of handoff thing. I like the frenzy option he's got in this team as well. He's got enough claw. He's got the strength. Guard, obviously, I haven't got the guard, but I think everything else he's got. I don't know. For some reason, I just really don't like this matchup. I think the Widowmakers could make them pay. And they're a lot stronger than them little Chorfs. And the problem, like I've said already, if one of the ball centers is hard in a way with the ball, the other ball center's got a lot of work to do. On the plus side, they will get a bit of inducement, so they might be able to get a wizard or something. But I don't fancy, unless the Might Blow works, and the claw could work. But again, foul appearance, regen might save the Nurgle, so I'm gonna go with them. I think as the worst. Bears look, more killed. Hey, I heard about your rednecks being a kill team as well, so don't you start throwing that there. Them bloody rednecks was scary apparently. Might Blow, Parlon Wolf. Dear me, I don't know. Right then, so let's get to the next 2 teams to go then, and the next team is Cult of Nordlings. So this is Jim's team, who's basically chosen the Undead because of Fernord, who told him to, basically. What do you think of this team, More Shots?
I find this team interesting, and it's just one of those where the guard on the ghouls, for some reason, just does something for me.
Mm-hmm.
I can picture those ghouls just kind of stepping up to the right location, opening up an additional block or two here or there, and just really breaking open the game. I think that pair could be huge. But yeah, it's just I don't know what it is about this team that I like so much, but I just pictured like trying to play against them and them doing things that coaches just aren't quite used to. They've got enough guard, they've got enough mobility. They got zombies that they can throw into situations and get them removed, and it's not a big deal for them. I just really like the build of this team. I believe they've got 12 players, so they're not hurt if a player gets removed early or something like that. I just think it's a solid team, and I think this is going to be one of those teams that's going to sneak up on a few people this season.
Yeah, I must admit, I mean, there's been a lot of talk with people I've spoken to about the big three. What basically is yourself, the Revang and the Widowmakers. But when people was looking at other teams, what could break into that big three, this was one of them teams what basically came up. I've got some fluff about this team. I'll just read it out. It says, long ago, a small sect of rabid fans happened upon one another at an MML game. They were upset with the general condition of the game, what with elves and lizards and dwarfs running rampant. They thought that if they looked their resources, they could make a great team and show the league how the game is supposed to be played. However, they had no money due to goblin gambling debts, and thus has to resort to picking up player pieces after each game. They stored them up and sewed them together, eventually forming an entire undead team to be proud of. As an ode to popular MML coach Fernod's, they called their group and team the Cult of Fernodlins, but the league shied away from accepting their ragtag bunch of seen together zombies and poorly wrapped mummies. As such, the team was shelved, but recently it was unearthed while cleaning hobgoblin cages and given a second chance. And then he said to them about it. Then he was like, "This is non-stuff fluff. This next bit," but he says, "When I was new, for notes recommended I try Undead. This is my first Undead team ever. Rarely played and have been sitting in the farm for some time. But the snap decision to bring them to the league could be fun to bring some meaning to my literal first Undead team ever." Since then, according to CCL, Undead is my best race at 67% win race. So I love his fluff. I think it's awesome. He's got a good win record with him as well, and you gotta love it. You gotta love it. I hope they do well, and I think they're built quite well. You've said about the guard on the golds. What's good in the way that he's got 2 mobile guard pieces. On the flip side, though, is a lot of times when you see guard, they're actually basing up and get hit the turn after. But as soon as they get block or even wrestle, I guess, they'll be a lot safer. But I do love, obviously, that Jim's decided to go with this, and obviously they call the Cult for Nordlands as well. There's a good story, good backstory in there of fluff, and the other reason why he's gone with the Undead. He's got security gate as well. His record's good: 11 wins, 10 draws, 6 losses. I'm really, really looking forward to seeing these play. I really am. Block Mummy as well was good. He's got Vlad the hero, was an outright nasty killer as well. He could become a hero, like it says there. I like the fend on number 11 and 13. I really like that, especially against the as Bears like to call them, kill teams. And also, it's good as a defensive thing as well, because if they're shielding the ball carrier, people can't follow up. So that's always good as well. So I think for 1,500, he's going to get inducements. Can they get Cheney, the Undead?
I believe they can.
If they can,
the inducements for him, yeah.
Ooh.
I'm pretty sure they can get Cheney. They can get a vampire. They can get additional mummies. They can get a bit of everything. The Undead star player roster is a who's who of what you don't want to have coming up against you. It's a pretty good looking group for being Undead. I'll put it that way. If you've got something in particular that you want to bring in, you've got a little bit of extra cash maybe, or the other team's giving you some free money, you're going to find something that's going to bring something to the table that's going to be quality. It's not some Willow showing up with strength and dauntless or nothing like that. You're talking the creme de la creme.
Yeah, I'm just thinking this team's good, but can you imagine putting Cheney with this lot? Oh my god, that would be scary.
Oh yeah.
That would be real
I
scary.
picture that. I picture that happening for their playing the dwarves. I
Yeah.
picture that, and that's why I like them against them. It's just to the point where I can see them taking Cheney and walking into that matchup and just having the mummies with the guard really base some things up, get some hits, and really, like I said, I feel that this team is gonna sneak up on a few people, and I mean this is gonna be one of those. I would say week 6, week 7, you're gonna be looking at the undead going, if they can get a draw and a win, they're gonna make playoffs. Like I feel like this is that sneaky team that people are sleeping on, that it really could make a run.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just looking so they got you week 7. Who they got week 6?
Oh, I don't want that. I guarantee you that one's going to be winner goes to the playoffs. That's what's going to happen with that game.
Yeah, you don't really want to go there. But if it makes you feel better, Revang and the Dwarfs and Weeping Widowmakers both playing week 7 as well, together against each other. So that's...
Oh, man. Week 7 is going to be absolutely electric for this.
It's going to be amazing. So would you say the best matchup then for the Undeads, the Dwarfs then? Is that what you're saying?
I really think, I think they will, because I picture the setup being that they're going to end up being able to bring Cheney in, and they're going to have enough guard to cause trouble, and they're going to have that claw that's just going to come in. It's going to be strength 4, and it's going to be to the point where they're going to take hits, and it's going to be a knockdown drag out fight. But I could see Undead coming out on top on that one, and really like that being the win for their season that puts them in that playoff run.
Yeah, it's. I think. Yeah, I think what's he going to get? He's going to get 350. Bloody hell. So even with a little bit of cash, you could even get a wizard and Cheney, or you could go Cheney 2 Bears, what could be just as good. Bloody hell, yeah, that's a pretty good matchup for him, isn't it? Depending on the inducement it takes. Is it the best matchup though?
It's funny. You could put them up against like a Dash and Bash or even the Skaven and that. They've got the tools to match up with a lot of different teams. But that's the one where I really think that people aren't going to pay attention and think that the Dwarves are just going to come in and roll them. And that's why I think that one's going to be one of those games where people are going to take notice after they go into that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick Bill Cower Power Hour as their best matchup. Everyone can sit down. Don't worry. I've just got to. I know. I'm just saying the other way. I say I've thrown a curveball there, haven't I? I've thrown a curveball there. I'd Cheney to the Undead team. This only counts if it takes Cheney, because this is a scary team, and I don't like going against a team with a load of claw and that. But you know what? He's got his 2 strength 5 guards. He's got his 3 guards. He's got his 2 ghouls with guards, what can obviously manipulate to get the hits he needs. He's got Cheney who can like frenzy, and he's got claw. He can foul. And as I've said before, and this is where people say, "Oh God, Chaos kill teams, oh Nurgle kill teams," and all. But what people don't understand is a lot of their players are only armor 8. The only armor 8. Mighty Blow, especially Mighty Blow piling on, still hurt AV8 a lot. And, he's going to have to play top skill level to beat a team like this in more shots. But I think he's got all the tools to beat this team. And the reason I picked this team as his best matchup, because I think out of all the teams the Power Hour are going to play, I think the Undead have got the best chance, because they've got the regen, they've got the strength, they've got the guard, they can bring Cheney in, if the TVs are the same now. And don't forget, Manda Razor could be coming back, so you could even have even more inducements. And if we get to week 7, and as Moshot said, it's either the Power Hour or Jim's team to go through, and he's got a little bit of cash extra, you could see Jim going to his pocket money, getting a wizard, and having Cheney, and all of a sudden that's a nightmare for Moshot's team. And I'm not saying he will, and Moshot might rip him to shreds, but I think out of all the teams, especially week 7, if I'm Moshot, I don't want to be playing this Undead team week 7, especially if I need to win, because you've got the guard, you've got the strength, you've got Cheney. You may even have a wizard, and you can foul with your skeletons, and you have regen. So his claw might get him off the pitch, but they may come back. So, and if you kill Summit, you get an extra player. Hey.
Yeah.
So.
No, I think there's definitely a good chance there. I picture by that matchup that the other white will have guard. They'll have 6 guard.
Yeah.
If Jim keeps a ghoul safe, then yeah, what you said could play out. Exactly like that. Because, like I said, it's a solid team, and I think a lot of people are underestimating them.
Yeah, exactly. Biz said Power Hour have a great deadly record versus Undead. Yeah, but records are there to be broken. You know.
Don't tell them that.
You know, they always are. Records are there to be broken. So, but yeah, I didn't want to go with this. I just have a good feeling about this. So yeah, I think that's their best one. I'm standing by it. You can say I'm drunk. I don't care. But if that Undead team wins in week 7, I'll be reminding you a lot. Obviously, if they don't, I'll try and forget. Right, okay, so that's the best matchups. Where do you think is his worst matchup, more shots?
Oh gosh, that's a tough one. Because, like I said, I think they're going to hold up well against pretty much every team.
Yeah.
His worst matchup might end up being the Weeping Widowmakers. If the Widowmakers can get their tentacles on the ghouls, that'll throw off a lot of things. And I really think that could be the difference. Is just the tentacles tying up things, the strength 5 kind of keeping the mummies in place and not letting them run all over the place. I think that one could be a pretty good one. But I mean, that's like I said, I of all the teams, I think the Undead's the one that people are overlooking. So I think they're going to be in every game. I don't think they have a necessarily really bad matchup. So. Yeah, I think the Nurgle one could be one that Thunden with the tools that he has and the offense that he has, that one could end up being like a 2-1 loss for the Undead. But yeah, I think they're going to be in every game. I think that's just the way that the team's built. And I mean, Jim's a good coach and he's effective with them. So yeah, if you're going to get a win against the Undead, you're going to have to do a good job coaching. It's not going to be an easy win.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I agree with you. They're so well rounded. Oh dear. I really don't know because I like I said, I think they've got a good chance against the Chaos, or a fighting chance. They've got a fighting chance against the Nurgle and the Dwarfs. I think. I don't think the Dwarfs have got Might Blood Club, but they just don't have enough power. I don't think. Oh God.
Yeah.
This is a really tough one. That's testament to Jim having a good team. I'm going to throw another curveball here. I'm going to throw because hey, I'm going to go with Dash and Bash. Just because of the 3 guard, they may be able to manipulate the Undead, and obviously they can go ghoul hunting. And they've got an agility 5 piece, what could probably just run through the Undead and score. I just think and they've got a lot of blodge as well, and there's not. I think it's a 1 tackle on the Undead team if I remember correctly. It's a good piece, but I think and obviously there'll be no Cheney to bail out the Undead, so he won't be able to save them. And there's a very good chances the Dark Elves will have a wizard as well. So yeah, I honestly think if I had to pick one, reluctantly pick one, I'll go for a bit of value and go Dash and Bash. Who will Dash and Bash? So hey. Right, final team then. The return of the champion, the Bill Cower Power Hour, the lovable team what just wants to cuddle and make friends. I guess I better talk about the team. Very good team. Irish Carbon, legend. I love him. I've obviously played this team twice, won 1, lost 1. And it's funny because obviously Moshot is a great guy, and I for some sick reason I like playing against Moshot because I just think, well, this is 2 teams that really want to mess each other up, and they're just gonna throw it all out there. They're gonna throw, they're gonna hit, they're gonna do everything. And, I love playing against these big players like the Irish Carbons. I remember Chancellor as well. Obviously, you got rid of Frisney Beard, didn't you? What was a bit of a interesting one.
That was actually a move to upgrade the stadium.
Yeah, and I do have, and I'm talking, I'm just trying to scroll to yours because we do have some more fluff. So I'm going to read this. After a few seasons off the Power Hour return, notable changes to the roster are that Wrath and Frisneybeard have been traded to other Pro Chaos teams, and Combustible Lemon has been added to help with the ball handling duties. This lower roster cost has allowed the team to upgrade the stadium to a size that is as large as can be safely constructed. The stadium, known as the Slaughterhouse, has been built and rebuilt so many times that most players can't count high enough to actually say how many different versions have existed. Up until this point, the magic number was 7. 7 different versions of the stadium have been built and destroyed in the team's 11 seasons. This time, with its 8th construction, the owner, Bill Cower, hopes to have built a home for not just his team, but a home for all Chaos players, past, present, and future. And my first question to you, how many home games do you have this season?
2.
Same as me!
And they're the last 2. So I don't even get to see the stadium until week 6.
So obviously
which has an advantage and disadvantage. The disadvantage is I don't get to see my stadium until really late in the season, and the disadvantage is I don't get the beer stand in the home game advantage like that. Mm-hmm. The advantage is that Thunden wants to burn my stadium down. He takes it as a bit of pride that he's destroyed it several times, and it's going to be a away game in week 2, so he can't
bend
do
down.
it. So that is something that I'm grateful for having so few home games, so that the stadium will be hopefully intact. Unless, if Jim beats me week 7, that could be the end of the stadium.
There could be riots, especially if Jim stops from getting to the playoffs. I could see your fans maybe.
Oh yeah, it's happened before. It's notorious for that kind of stuff.
But it's great that you've done all this, built new stadium, all that, and the MML. Is it really safe? Really, we're not really sure. So we're gonna make sure we use this stadium the last 2. So if anything goes wrong, it's at back end of the season. Then you got a whole season to fix it back up. So they're pretty smart. I like I said, I love this team. I love the name Combustible Lemon. I love it. So you got again a bit like the Widowmaker. You're gonna have 3 ball handlers, 2 agility 4, and obviously your blodge 2-handed 3 arms or whatever runner. And obviously you've got Ram Chancellor with the frenzy. What I love anything what strength 4 blitz with frenzy. Irish Car Bomb, he needs no introduction. He's a monster. And it's just a really well built team. I love them, and I cannot wait to see them. As like you've said many times, I just can't wait to watch them play. I'll just watch and see what happens. But again, I mean, what? I mean, who is your favorite player on the team?
My favorite player is Ram Chancellor.
Yeah.
Original player. And when I started the team, it was like, I didn't know anything about Blood Bowl, and everything was pretty much new to me. So you Google Blood Bowl, how to play Blood Bowl, and you pull up articles, and they're all like, you just do Claw Palm, and then 1 ball handler, and then you just kill the other team, and then you win. And it's just like, okay, that's how you do it. That's what Google says. So the team started off, and I thought that's what you did. So I got to Ram Chancellor's 2nd level, and I'm like, ooh, Frenzy sounds cool. I want that skill instead, and it changed the entire make of the team. At that point, then, I was no longer following some template that says, oh, you take Claw, and you take Mighty Blow, and you take Pylon, and you just build this team this way. So he's probably my favorite player because he changed the overall arc of the team, I think. But the first skill that I ever got was after the first week. Jack Daniels, the other only original player that I had, has dodge, and much like how I said I don't like Strength 5 warriors, dodge on him changed his entire build too, because that turned him from block, guard, mighty blow, claw, tackle, all the basic skills, turned him into blodge, guard, extra arm, stand firm. So he ends up becoming a support player that you can move up the field and then try and do a handoff or a pass to, and then run him in. So he's like a hidden fourth ball carrier
Yeah.
that's of all the players, I like a lot of them, and the agility 4 is fun, but the builds that feel like they're different and original, I gravitate to more.
Yeah, I think I like about the team is, again, like a bit like the Weeping Widowmakers, they've got every base covered, they've got their enforcers, they've got the frenzy, they've got the ball handlers, like you just said. Even you can hand off to Jack Daniels and he'll get it done. And I always think the teams with a lot of pieces, what can win your games, is always going to be more successful because you're not relying on that one or two pieces. So I'm glad they're back. I'm glad they're not in my division. Playpool, so that's good. But yeah, I can't wait to see them play, and I can't wait for week 2. You against the Widowmakers, and you against Rivang as well. Oh man, that's gonna be good.
It's looking like kickoff's going to be in about an hour and a half, so about 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock here, so whatever an hour and a half is over there.
Oh God, I don't even know what time it is. Let me have a look. But oh God, that's going to be You've got to win 3-0 though. Don't you stall at 2-0. I've got I want to get to a good start. I want to at least get one of these things right. Don't you be throwing in the towel at 2-0 and stalling.
No guarantees. I don't know what's going to happen, but.
Obviously, if you're 3-0 up at half time, you can stall the full second half and do what they're doing. You know what they're doing in American football when they go into a lead and then they just play like, all right, we've won easy enough. We're not gonna rub your nose in it. 3-0's the magic number.
Clock.
Yeah, that's it. Kill the clock.
I'll try that. I'll see what I can do to help you out. But I have to admit, when it comes to the goblin gambling and all that stuff, I generally make it a goal to screw everybody's brackets up.
Yeah.
Like I was looking at it earlier. No one had me for 4 touchdowns, so my mind kind of went, I should try and get 4 touchdowns just to screw everybody over, or because I think every other combination's pretty much covered. Yeah, because like when I was playing goblins, nothing made me happier than everybody being wrong. I mean, in the end, I want to get a win, and that's kind of the end of it all. But yeah, it's to the point too. You still want to have fun and have some kind of different challenges. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm hoping to do a little passing with them. I'm hoping to have a little fun.
Yep.
Another big thing for me is I kind of want to get a few of the players that are close to breaking into legendary to get to legendary.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. So yeah, there's a few goals like that I have for the team, but a lot of it is I like playing the team and kind of wanted to bring them back, and kind of ran out of reasons not to, really.
Yeah, I love them, and like I said, it's interesting because obviously Chaos. I mean, obviously people are going about Nagel coming back, but obviously Chaos this season, all of a sudden everyone's on the Chaos train because obviously Beers did an amazing
8 Chaos teams.
Yeah. Well, that's it. You see, it's easy to see why the thing is. Beers is the champion and played Chaos brilliantly in his run in the playoffs, and obviously I would say the other famous team, obviously yours, has come back, and obviously a former. So you got the champion and the former champion, so you can see why. And then Rez really let me down. I thought Rez going Chaos, I'm so disappointed. I was praying for them Underworld because I just think if anyone was ever going to win with Underworld as the champion, he would have been him. But yeah, there's a lot of chaos.
I think that'll end up happening at some point still.
I think he will. I think he just wanted a break.
I think it was I think if anything, there's a better chance for a strong Underworld run, because he's taking like a rebound team. I would say Chaos is. He's not going to get married to Chaos. It's a rebound team. He'll play a season or two, and then he'll go and do something else. Like, there's no long term there. I don't think. But
it's what Baze did to him. It's Baze's fault. It's just I don't know. So who do you think is your best matchup apart from obviously the Necro? Who else do you think you can get that big W from? If you had to pick one team,
I don't think Necro's my best matchup at all. Best matchup, probably going to be the Chaos Dwarves. I think they'll get some inducements, but I think I've got enough guard and enough claw that if I can get a hit or two early and keep them kind of manageable, that could be a game where I could. I think the game plan for that one seems a little bit more solid than a lot of the other ones. A lot of the other ones, I think, they give me a lot more things I got to work around.
Yeah.
Dark Elves might be a good matchup for me too, but yeah, I mean, oh, no, maybe not. Now I look at the Dark Elves again. Yeah, no, it's.
Yeah,
I think my matchup in an hour and a half is my best matchup. That's,
yeah.
and then they bring in a bunch of chainsaws and claws, and then I change my mind on that again too. So no, it's. I think the Chaos Dwarfs will be a pretty good matchup for me, though.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you with Chaos Dwarfs because again, the problem is the two bulls aren't. I don't think the two bulls are going to get involved as much. So then you can just pick on the Chorfs. The only concern against Chorfs is obviously his claw, but again, you're stronger than him, so you may be able to position it so that that's going to be like one dies or very ineffective. It's the sort of game I can see Ram having a good game on. Ram Chance. I think he could have a really good game. I mean, obviously Irish Carbon could as well, but I think that game's made for Ram, and I think he could surf a few as well. So I'm going to agree with you. I think, if I was in control of your team, I wouldn't be worried up against the Chuffs. So yeah. Worst case matchup. Who do you? I know you probably don't fear any team, but which team are you like? Oh, I really don't want to play them.
Nope. That one's easy, Thunden. Me and Thunden go way back. We've had a lot of good matchups, and I would say he's always been a step ahead of me for the most part. I've gotten a few wins here and there, but he has always been one of those where he does a good job pushing me to my limits and making me coach better, to try and just he makes me work harder to do the things that normally I feel like come a little bit easier to me. So yeah, he's always been he has always been a coach that I've highly respected and has always given me nothing but a challenging game and a coach's chat that is second to none. So
yeah,
I look forward to that one, but that is one where I do know that it will be difficult for me.
Yeah, I think that's going to be tough. The only reason I'm not going to go that as your worst matchup because you've only got the 3 warriors. That sort of worries me. But then again, I'm looking at what's a bad matchup for you, and you know what? I'm gonna go with Jim's Undead because I can't really say anything else. I think the dwarfs may just have enough there.
The dwarves will be a bad matchup too.
Yeah, the old.
Will.
Yeah.
I mean, any of these teams could step up and win it on any week. It's really to the point. But yeah, I think the undead and the dwarves would be my next two. That they're both
they're all good
teams that easily could get a step up early and just leave me in the dust.
Yeah, it's hard when you have to just pick the one because there's obviously more than one. But I've got a good feeling. I don't know why I've got a good feeling. It's never usually good for the coach if I'm saying I've got a good feeling your team's going to beat somebody because they usually don't. But I've got a gut reaction that I think Jim could do something in week 7. And
like I said,
we'll see.
I'm calling it right now. That's going to be a playoff one. It's going to come down to that, and I just know it because it has the feeling for it. It has the making of it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I can't wait for that one. It's going to be brilliant. But I think there's a lot of good teams in here. I think we've got some up and coming teams like the Rats and the Dark Elves, and obviously fingers crossed the Necro just hang tough. And obviously Ash is going to be dangerous as well. I'm interested how his combination of bulls go on. I hope that works out well for him. And obviously the big guns as well. And Jim's like the fly in the ointment. You just don't know. Sneaky, what's he gonna do? And like he's already said, he's got a really good record with the undead in the champion ladder. So obviously he knows how to play undead. So I can't wait. But we come to the end of the show, and I have to ask you this: which 2 will make the playoffs? Who's going to come second, and who's going to come first?
Nurgle's going to be first.
Right. Okay.
And second place is a coin flip, and it's going to come down to week 7, and it's going to end up being a 3-way race between Chaos, Dwarf, and Undead. And like I said, that's how I see it. I really see it coming down to the last week, that they're all going to be sitting at like 3 wins, a draw, and a loss, or something like that. 3 wins, 2 draws, and a loss. It's going to be just a mishmash of teams that are all kind of in that run.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
I like myself for second. Week 7 with a draw. That's
with a
gotta be
draw.
there. I gotta with a draw. That's what it's gotta be. It's gotta be something like that because it's never like, oh yeah, we won, we own that. No, it's always some weird. I barely crawl into the playoffs. So yeah, I'm gonna continue to make playoffs, but it's gonna be in some wonky way where like the dwarves and I were tied, and the dwarves lost. Lost to Thunden, and Thunden ends up saving me and gets me in the playoffs, and then we match up like the first week, and then I end up giving him a stick in the eye because of it or something like that. It's gonna be something weird like that.
Yeah,
it always happens.
I have a vision. Wonky. I have a vision of week 7 with everything to play for.
No, I just figured it out.
What?
This just got even worse.
Why?
Okay, the first two don't matter. It's going to be the third one because of the way that the pools are.
Oh, what?
The wild card. That's the one you got to figure out.
I didn't know there was a wild card. No one told me about a wild card.
So because there's only 3 pools.
Yeah.
Out of all 3 pools, the highest 2, out of those, go into the playoffs as like your 7 and 8.
Is that just the mixed?
It's because of the 4th pool not being there.
Right.
So that's going to be the big thing is that one of these third teams is going to be the one that ends up going to the playoffs and really screwing everybody up. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be the undead or the dwarves coming in as the dark horse out of nowhere and making a run. That's my prediction right there.
There you go. I had a really good thing. I thought it was week 7, you against Jim. The rain's down, and it'd be resolved on a forced fumble, or something like, or a failed GFI to win the game. So yeah, I see. Nobody told me about wildcard. It's good that they told me at the last bloody preview show. So we'll have to see. That just adds a bit more interest, though. Who do I think will win the league? And second, see, I like Roik, but Roik just destroys team. And every time if I say bad things about Roik, he does well. If I say good things about Roik, he does rubbish. So I will not curse you, Roik, but that still doesn't make my life much easier. I'm trying to get on the Jim bandwagon. I'll be honest. I'm trying to get the T-shirt and the flags and everything. But would he be good enough to beat the big 2, more shots and Thunder? That's the thing. God. Right, okay. I got it. Widowmakers to finish second. And I ain't going against more shots, baby. Bill Cowpower win it. I ain't that daft. You still all think I'm drunk? I ain't that drunk. Power come back. I can't say the returning champs. The returning former champs come back and say, Beers, give me back my trophy. That's mine. Thanks for looking after it for me. He wins the division, but I think he will not get a perfect record. I can see him being undefeated until week 7 when Jim beats the Power Hour to get a wild card or second place or whatever. Week 7's going to be big. But as it stands, Power Hour gets through. Widowmakers get second, and that's what I'm going with. And we'll see if I'm right. If I'm not right, I'm blaming my co-announcer Mo Shots because it'd be his fault.
Yeah, it's all my fault. I'm going to let you down. I take all blame for this because I have some level of impact on it.
I can imagine against like week 7, and you need a win to go through, and you're gambling on the Goblin gambling thing, and you'll be like one square away from the touchdown to win. You'll be like, nah, you're alright, lads. I ain't going to the playoffs. I'm going to screw you, all you Goblin gambling bets, and I'm going to get a draw instead. Yeah, I do. No, I ain't winning with you all backing me. But brilliant! I can't wait. This is
the Goblin gambling money.
Yeah, I can see you doing that because probably by then your stadium's going to get trashed and you need more money to build it again. So it makes sense to me. I think that could happen. It could. So anyway, that's us done. Thanks again to Mo Shots for joining me. It's always a pleasure having you on. Just remember the most important thing: 3-0 tonight. We'll be all right. And thanks to everybody in the chat. I wish you all the best of luck. I hope the Tour Balls works out for your share. I hope, obviously, Mo Shots returns and just causes carnage. And good luck to my fellow Four Horsemen Thunden. I know he doesn't like me tipping him, but at least I didn't tip it to win the full thing, so he can't blame me for that. And I'm really hopeful that the new guys or the new developed teams like Bot, Big Lanky, and Defiance do well. And I know Roy's going to cause carnage, and hope Hail Mary Pass does a thing. That's us done. Thanks again. May battle commence. Good luck to, obviously, More Shots tonight. Good luck to everybody else. And we'll see you next time. Take care, guys, and thank you very much. Bye-bye.